And we are live, baby. I mean, happy Sabbath, everybody. Howdy, Landon.
What up?
Howdy, Matt.
Howdy.
Howdy, Mateo.
Ooh, 1 second.
Oh, whoa, calm down, man. Howdy, Lynn. Howdy, Brenda. Howdy, Andrea. Howdy, Tony. Howdy, Julia. Welcome. And today we are continuing on in the book of Exodus with chapters 27 and chapter 28. If you want to read along on your own time, you can go to kingjamesbibleonline.org, blueletterbible.org, esword.net, biblehub.com. They also have pretty good study tools also. If you want to listen while you're doing work or other stuff, go to bibletoolsonline.org. Or actually, that one might be .com. I should put it in there. Everybody have a good week? Productive? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and pray in, though, and then we'll get rolling. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for bringing us together today on this beautiful day of rest so we can delve into the written word that you have left us and learn from that. We would ask you to pour out your spirit on everybody here now and in the future and bless them too because they are seeking you out, seeking your instruction. We thank you for that. In Jesus Yeshua's name, amen. All righty. Exodus chapter 27.
All right, 27. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, and all the vessels thereof thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make it for a grate of net work of brass, and upon it the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves of the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed thee in the mount. So shall they make it. And thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hanging for the court of fine twined linen, and 100 cubits long for one side. And the 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. And likewise, for the north side in length, there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of brass, and the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hanging of 50 cubits, their pillars 10 and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side eastward shall be 50 cubits. The hanging of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3 and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hanging 15 cubits, their pillars 3 and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits of blue, purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets shall be 4. And the pillars round about of the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be silver, and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere. And the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle, and all the services thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring the pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always, in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall order it from the evening to morning before the Lord, and it shall be a statute forever unto their generations on the behalf of the children of Israel.
Real quick, where'd you want me to stop at? I forgot. Sorry.
21.
Thank you, sir. Chapter 28. Then bring near to you Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him, from among the people of Israel, to serve me as priests. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. You shall speak to all the skillful, whom I have filled with a spirit of skill, that they make Aaron's garments to consecrate him for my priesthood. These are the garments that they shall make: a breastplate, an ephod, a robe, a coat of checker work, a turban, and a sash. They shall make holy garments for Aaron, your brother, and his sons to serve me as priests. They shall receive gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet yarn, and of fine twined linen, skillfully worked. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces attached to its 2 edges, so that it may be joined together. And the skillfully woven band on it shall be made like and the skillfully woven band on it shall be made like it, and be of one piece of it, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine twined linen. You shall take 2 onyx stones, and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of these names on the one stone, and the names of the remaining 6 on the other stone, in the order of their birth. As a jeweler engraves signets, so shall you engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. You shall enclose them in settings of gold filigree, and you shall set the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod, as stones of remembrance of the sons of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders for remembrance. You shall make settings of gold filigree, and 2 chains of purple gold twisted like cords, and you shall attach the corded chains to the settings. You shall make a breastplate of judgment and skilled work. In the style of the ephod you shall make it, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine twined linen shall you make it. It shall be square and doubled, a span its length, and a span its breadth. You shall set in it 4 rows of stone, a row of sardius, topaz, and carbuncle shall be the first row. And the second row, emerald, sapphire, and diamond, and a diamond. And the third row, a jacinth, and agate, and an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. There shall be 12 stones with their names according to the names of the sons of Israel. They shall be like signets, each engraved with its name, for the 12 tribes.
And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the end of the wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shalt put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate. And the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate in the order thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. And the 2 rings of the gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosed from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place for a memorial before the Lord continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart, and when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue. And there shall be an hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof, and it shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of a bergeron, that it be not rent. And beneath, upon the hem of it, thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, round about the hem thereof, and bells of gold between them, round about. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy places before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. And thou shalt put it on a blue lace, that it may be upon a mitre, upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be. And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts, and it shall always be upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles, and bonnets shalt thou make for them, and glory and for beauty. For thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him. All righty. Let's go back to 27. What are we talking about? Okay. That's interesting. The selection of Urim means guilty and Thummim means innocent. Okay, so we got more of the construction instructions here. And something I found interesting while Matt was reading, starting in verse 4, talking about where they're going to be burning the sacrifices. I never noticed this, or don't recall noticing it. A network of brass. So a net, they're making a net of brass, and I guess it's kind of like the things you put in the fireplace.
Right, yeah.
That allow all the ashes and charcoal to fall through.
I noticed on 8 how it talks about how you were showed in the mount, so shall you make it. which is interesting.
Yeah. I think he was shown everything, except I think he was shown what was in heaven,
That's what I think.
and then told make an exact copy of this to the best of your ability, or a likeness of it in the earth. And this is a good observation, Lynn. Yep, all good barbecues have a grate. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's always a bummer when that hot dog falls down into the ashes.
Gross. Hot dogs are nasty.
Yep. Yeah, that is interesting. So let's see here. It's interesting how the King James, and I don't know if you're doing King James or the Sefer, Matt, but the
King James.
that is, it's interesting how it says just linen in this, and then in Landon's it says yarn.
English Standard Version.
But I don't know, when I think of yarn, I think of wool. But we're told later that you don't mix wool with linen. Interesting.
It's interesting that those were the two main fabrics.
Yeah. Well, readily available too. So that verse 11. So the curtains that are hanging 100 cubits. It says cubits was entered, right? So it says 100 long. So they're assuming cubits, but if it's 100 cubits, that's 150 feet high.
Mighty large tent.
Yeah. That takes us back to that eyeball look. That's interesting. And what was that? Something 360? That talking about the round versus the square or rectangle. I can't remember. Whoever has that, post it in the chat, please. Yep. So yeah, it keeps going through, and it's pretty specific. I mean, if you were to enter all of this into some type of computer design program, I think you could get, well, that's what that guy did. You could get a real accurate picture of exactly how everything looked. Yeah, 100 cubits is pretty impressive. The length of the court, 100 cubits, and the breadth, 50 everywhere. All the vessels made of brass. All the vessels, the pins of the court, all of it of brass. So the pins, yeah, that was it. Project 369, I think. So are these like safety pins? Is that what we're looking at? To pin these curtains together? Like when your granny used to make quilts and stuff? She'd have 1,000 stick pins.
When you buy a new button-down shirt and forget to take the thing out the neck. Yeah.
Yeah. Forget that. Like, oh, my throat hurts. I don't know why. Yeah. It's because you're getting stabbed in the neck. We did do that, Melly. I am that showing. There we go. Yep. You can go back in our catalog before it gets deleted. That because they're deleting videos, especially anything that talks about. Oh, I don't want to mention it because I don't want this one to get deleted right away.
Anything controversial.
Yep. Back in the Word. Go back in the Word series during the Apocrypha when we were reading that. Okay. So down at the bottom of 21 or 27, it talks about the oil for the lamp. And it's interesting because they talk about beating it to get the lamp oil, beating the olives. Whereas they use a press for everything else. I know. It's kind of interesting bit there.
Makes you wonder if that's just another way of saying it or pressing it.
Slow motion beaten. I wouldn't want to be beaten or pressed. Yeah, I was just thinking something along those lines. Is it a parallel to Jesus getting beaten? I don't know. Okay, let's go to 28. Yeah. Some interesting things on here as well in this part. So we got a list of all of Aaron's sons in verse 1. We know a couple of them are going to get wiped out for bringing unholy fire. What do they call it? It's not called unholy fire.
Strange fire.
What do you say?
Strange.
Strange fire. Yep. Strange fire.
I did wonder. I mean, it's just I don't have any proof, but I was kind of daydreaming the other day and thinking about that because they were swallowed up by the earth, right? The ones that brought the strange fire.
I don't remember if they were swallowed up or beaten. The ones I know for certain, the ones that are swallowed up in a little bit are going to be Korah and all his house, because they say, why can't we serve in Moses's position instead of Moses?
All right. Well, I'm gonna hold on to that thought till I figure it out. But it was just interesting. Yeah.
Until we get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that the earth would open up and then close back up. I wonder if the earth reacts like when you're eating like a handful of sunflower seeds and you get that one that's like, wow. The earth is like, whoa, man, that wasn't a very good seed right there. Okay, so a great deal of this chapter goes into Aaron's clothes, exactly how to make each little part of the garment. Now, like in verse 5, when they say they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen, is the gold the color of the linen, or is that actual gold thread, do you think? I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just wondering. Yep. Thank you, Brenda. So, Melly, that's when we went through Maccabees. Oh. I hope Matt has a parachute because he fell off. Or bungee cord. Maybe he can bungee back. Huh. Okay. So and it goes through this. Let's see. What is it? Yours was saying, yours didn't use the word curious, like in verse 8 in the curious girdle of the ephod.
And a skillfully woven band on it shall be made of skillfully woven. Wait. Shall be made like it and be of one piece with it, of gold, blue, purple, scarlet yarn, and fine twined linen.
Right?
My chair's falling apart again.
Okay. Now, this I found interesting because I was thinking about this. This does not say, because when in verse 9 and 10, okay, it says, and thou shalt take 2 onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 names on the one stone and 6 names on the rest of the other stone, or of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth order. So it doesn't say the tribes of Israel. It says the children of Israel. So that is because normally Levi is excluded because they're as we're going to see later, they're set apart to be the priesthood and servants in the temple or the tabernacle and temple. But then usually because they're out of the count, we have Joseph not mentioned, but he's split into Ephraim and Manasseh, right, for his sons because he got the double portion. This doesn't say name the tribes. This says name the children. I find that very interesting. And it's also interesting because when you get into Revelation, when the 144,000 are mentioned, it mentions Levi and it mentions Joseph, but it doesn't mention Dan and it doesn't mention Ephraim. But then later on, they're added back in. And it doesn't say Joseph. I don't know. It's just interesting. All right. What else you got? What else you got there? I hope Matt's all right, man. I wonder what happened. Yeah. he had those Air Force planes flying over, testing out their jamming equipment.
Maybe a goat got out. I don't know.
Yep. Yep. Dinah's not mentioned, Margaret. It only mentions the sons, and then that'll be explained more as we get into deeper into Exodus and Leviticus. Definitely passed down through the patriarch side, unless there was no sons. So yours says skillful work, where the King James says cunning. And it's got to be the same word. Let's see. Cunning, Hebrew 2803, kashab, plate, fabricate, weave, think, regard, value, compute. It's one of those everything words.
Yeah, that's got to be one of those words. And it's like the concept only makes sense the way the language structure is, which I don't understand.
Yep. So Lynn's asking, what exactly are ouches? So those are, it's also couches. You'll see it, but it's the setting for the stones. And it's actually translated as setting in Landon's. What is it, the ESV?
Yes. Or Legos on the floor at night.
The Ephraimic standard version. Is that what it is?
English?
Oh, sure. Make it easy. That. So on my other computer, before it died, I had a list of all the tribes with their stones. And it's interesting because some of the names they use for these stones are lost. The name of the stone is lost, and you'll see different types. So there's speculation on, well, what kind of stone is it? And depending on where you get the list, they'll be different. Yep, pretty fascinating though. See, and then down here in 21, you got the stones according to their names and the engravings of the signet, and then everyone with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. Goes back to tribes. Oh, that's interesting. You should send me a photograph so we can share it next week, Lynn. She has a set of those. Each one is named, and they pop into a cross necklace. Yep. Now, what do you think they're talking about here with when it says wreathen chains in verse 24? Yours says, I don't know what yours says. I'm thinking it's like the what?
It says 2 cords of gold and in the 2 rings at the edge of the breastplate.
That. So I wonder if wreathen, you know how they have the gold that's like braided, the gold chains that are braided?
Yeah.
That's what popped into my head. Where are all our jewelers? It mentions those quite a bit too. 2 rings of gold. So this is pretty in depth. Now, something else I was thinking about in 33, it starts talking about the bottom hem of the garment, right? So pomegranates of blue and of purple and of scarlet. So 3 different colors of pomegranates. And those are going to go round about the hem, and then the bells of gold in between them. So a golden bell and a pomegranate, golden bell and a pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about. And something that popped into my head while I was reading that is pomegranates are chock full of seeds, right? They're loaded with seeds. And in the East, Middle East and Far East, they're seen as some type of like a fertility symbol.
Right.
In that, because of all the seeds. And it just made me think when I was reading that, because what do we have? We have the 12. We have the 12 children of Israel, 12 sons of Israel, and then we have the 12 tribes, and then we have these pomegranates. But it doesn't give a number for how many pomegranates, and it doesn't say how many. Just line them up, make a whole bunch of them. So I'm kind of wondering if those are symbolic of being the fruit. The pomegranates are the fruit of the 12 tribes, and just loaded with seed.
Well, if they got 3 different colors, that would be 4 tribes for every color. 4. Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
How come the burger for them?
Interesting too that so many nations have their flags as 3 colors too.
Almost all do.
Yep. Then we got Aaron's forehead covered up. Now, what else? Talking about the... Oh, where is it? Talks about... There it is in verse 42. Okay, talking about Aaron's sons and Aaron, right? Shall make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness from the loins even unto the thighs. So like heavy duty boxer shorts, right? And then has anybody ever seen the temple garments that Mormons wear when after they go through their temple ceremony?
Yeah, they're mighty specific.
Yeah. It's similar to what they're talking about here. There. Very interesting though. Look at that. Faces is here. Yay.
What?
Faces in Stone.
Oh.
Hanging out with us today. So, yeah, white coats. Those are interesting. Look into do a rabbit hole study on the temple garments that the Mormons have. You'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
Just don't look up Mormon underwear on your work computer. That's
Don't look up Mormon underwear. That don't know what'll be coming up then. Okay. You got any other observations in this, Landon?
no. These I always kind of struggle with this section, because it's pretty cut and dry. But I know it's important. I just kind of is what it is. As much as I hate that phrase.
Yeah. Well, it is. Okay. Well, I hope Matt's doing all right. I don't know. I got my phone charging in the other room, so I can't tell if he texted me or not.
Well, I mean, those of us that wanted to be here stayed. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, Landon, Matt, thanks for reading. Everybody in chat, thanks for coming and hanging out with us for a while. I know your weekend is restful and important to you. And I'm really happy you're all here. And yeah, Melly, go check out the readings on Maccabees that we did. We only did 1 and 2 because there's issues with 3 and 4. Anyways, if this has been helpful to you, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell thingy. Hey, we were just talking about bells. Ring the golden bell. Don't ring the pomegranate. Yeah, you don't want to do that. All right. So, anyways, next week we're doing 29 and 30, if you can believe that. I know that's not that far. 29 and 30. We're definitely not moving as fast as we were in the past, but we're also doing only 2 chapters each reading, which isn't bad. Anyways, all right, everybody, thank you much. I love you all. We'll talk soon. Bye.